Alright guys, I just want to make kind of a quick video showing how I like to mix up my bags if I'm going to grow in bags. I'm not making all-in-one bags, but what I'm doing is I'm taking colonized spawn and then I'm mixing my substrate in a bag, similar to how you would do in a mono tub. But I used to do it in the 6-quart shoe boxes, but you can fit a lot more bags on a shelf than you can shoe boxes on a shelf. And in my opinion, there's a little bit less chance for contamination, and I just like it more. You just kind of set it up, and then I end up just forgetting about it until it's time to harvest. So it's just my preferred method now. There's no cleaning shoe boxes, toss the bag when I'm done, and that's it. So I already got my spawn in the bag. I take a spoon, I clean that off with alcohol, I scrape it out of my quart jars, dump it into the bag, 1 quart jar per bag. Now I'm gonna break that spawn up real good. And some guys like to get a little crazy about their measurements and all that, but I just eyeball it. I like to do roughly 2-to-1 mixture. So I'm gonna do 2 parts substrate to 1 part of the grain. And then once I mix it up, I'm gonna do a thin casing layer, and then I'm gonna tape it up. And once it colonizes, then I'll put some marks on the bag, but I'll show you that once I get it all mixed up. So I'm gonna start out by cleaning my hands up a little bit. Get this guy opened up. Here's my substrate. This probably will get a little messy if you're doing it the way that I am, but that's okay. So yeah, that seems about how much I want in there. I just, like I said, I kind of eyeball it. Doesn't have to be perfect in my opinion. I get great results doing it this way. All right, so now you want to break that substrate up. You want to mix it all up with the spawn. Get it mixed up really good. You don't want a bunch of spawn sitting on the bottom. You want to get it nice and evenly mixed in. If you feel any chunks of substrate that aren't quite, or of spawn that aren't quite broken up, go ahead and do it now while you're doing this. All right, that's feeling pretty good. So from here, I'm going to lightly pack it down, and I want it to be nice and even across the surface. So I just take the back of my hand, just kind of pack it down a little bit. I put a little bit more pressure on the edge of the substrate right here, more than the center, because as it shrinks, this is going to shrink in. So if you have it packed in a little more, it'll help it from shrinking in on the sides. All right, it's looking pretty good. Now we're gonna go ahead and take a handful of this substrate. And 1 handful should be enough for your casing layer. All right, we're gonna set it in there. We're gonna make sure we don't have any chunks in it. And we're just gonna get it on there nice and even. Just like so. Pack it down a little bit. I'm going to kind of wipe my glove off a little bit because it's getting filthy. Like I said, this is going to get a little messy, but this is just how I do it. Sometimes at this point, I'll take my gloves off since I'm not putting my hands in here anymore, but I'm actually going to be making some more bags after this, so I'm leaving them on just because I don't want to have to waste another pair of gloves. But all right, from here, I'm going to take some distilled water. Spray down the sides a little bit, get some moisture on the walls. All right. Now I'm going to take some packing tape. If I can get it on. All right, I got one piece of packing tape. Gonna pull these corners in like this. I'm gonna set that on there. Fold it over it. Here we go, looking good, looking good. All right, now we're gonna take one more piece of packing tape. I like to do this one a little bit longer. And I will usually fold the edge in on this. This is going to be before though. There we go. All right, so now that's all ready right there. And then once this starts to colonize, so once it starts turning white, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some rubber bands and I'm gonna put one rubber band on the bottom and one rubber band close to the top. And then that'll make it when the cake shrinks, it'll keep that bag close to it, so it'll prevent most of the side pinning. Chances are you will still get a couple side pins, but in my opinion, that's not the end of the world. I don't do multiple flushes out of my bags. I'm sure you can, but in my opinion, I'll do one flush, and usually I get one really, really heavy flush on the first one, and then I just toss it and work on to the next thing. But, so yeah, there's that. And then once it gets fully colonized, once you put the rubber bands on, I like to take it in like this, and I take scissors and I trim about a 1/2 inch, little cut right here, and I go about 4 inches down. Another little 1/2 inch cut, and I do that on both sides. So you're gonna have 2 cuts on each side on each flap. So it's 8 cuts in total. But that's how I like to set up my bags. And yeah, I've had really good success like this, and I personally prefer it over doing shoe boxes. So let me know what you guys think about that.